What's going on, YouTube? Florida Man Knives here with an unboxing video that I am extremely excited for. Already have opened the box up and it was filled with these foam popcorn, so I'm getting the rest of that out. But as I was saying, I just am ridiculously excited for this because this particular knife is actually a grail of mine. And getting into it right here, it's going to be a Spyderco. So if you watch the channel and if you watch my top 10 best Spyderco knives videos, at the end of that, I did mention that I had a few grails out there. First off being the Spyderco Nirvana, then the Dodo, the Lava is one of them, and there's a few more I'd like to try, of course, but this one right here is going to be the Spyderco Dodo. And this is also going to be brand new in box. I am so excited for this thing. Yeah, so getting into it right here. Oh man, there it is. You guys, I have wanted this knife for so long. You have no idea. Here's gonna be the paperwork from it, and wow, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that right there if you do want to pause it. But as it says right here, this one was a limited sprint run of only 1,000 pieces. This particular one was from 2012. And the Spyderco Dodo itself was originally released, I believe, in 2003 and had a short run and was discontinued in 2006. For those of you who do not know, this is actually Eric Glesser's first full production knife design, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I am... Okay, I'm going to open this thing up. Man. Okay, that is first off just really, really smooth. And wow, the ergonomics are everything I could have ever hoped for. Holy moly. I just am so excited right now. Okay, wow. Yeah, so, and then you got the ball bearing lock right here. And man, wow. Okay, so I really am struggling to get my words out in this video. I will definitely be sure to do a longer, thorough review video on this, but, just overall, as you can see, this is a very, very unique looking knife. So as I said, this was Eric Glesser's first full production knife design, and it is one of Spyderco's little big knives. And the concept with that is, of course, the handle itself, feels solid, fills up the hand, but the blade shape is going to be shorter, which is generally, in my opinion, what is only needed for 90% of my personal EDC tasks. If you watch my channel, I'm a huge fan of the Spyderco Dragonfly 2. Another thing with this particular knife and a lot of their little big knives is that this one was designed in the dark, basically. So ergonomics come first on this. The looks did not matter whatsoever when Eric was designing this knife. However, I personally love unique looking knives, so I think this thing looks phenomenal with this reverse S-shaped blade. Really, really nice swedge right there out of that. Grind lines are pretty good too. Wow. And yeah, just again, super unique. So naturally, your pinky's gonna rest right here, and then your two middle fingers are gonna fill up that gap, and then of course it has this really nice four-finger choil there. No jimping on the choil or on the spine, which normally I would gripe about, but already I can say I'm actually really happy they did not do that with this knife, because this locks into your hand more than any knife I've ever tried. But it is exactly what I was hoping for, and that is definitely the case. So as you can see, there's a couple of different positions you can put your thumb in. A natural indent right here with this thumb ramp from the Spidey hole. I really like that. I also like that this Spidey hole isn't too raised up, because it allows your thumb to rest on this swedge right here. I really like that. So when you're going to cut something open, you can either hold it like that or this way. Of course, that will depend on your hand size as well. If you do not watch the channel, I do have extra large hands. So, for me, this is just, this is so cool. I am so excited. It's basically, a box cutter on steroids. Has the ball bearing lock, which is my all-time favorite locking mechanism in general. The ball bearing lock is of course featured on the Spyderco Manix 2s. This particular one is the Knife Joker exclusive lightweight, but I did want to point out the difference between the Manix ball bearing lock and the ball bearing lock on most of the other models, such as the Q ball, is going to be that you don't have these FRN or FRCP. I actually don't know if it's FRCP or FRN. But anyways, these plastic little, liners over the particular ball bearing locks. So you see they're exposed from the scale, which allows you to grab them, as opposed to this ball bearing lock without those plastic, exterior liners, is fully flush within these scales. So definitely not going to be as easy to engage and disengage. You definitely can pull it back with both fingers, as you can see. I know a lot of people just use their thumbnail like that, and then you can do the same thing with just your index finger, which I don't know what I'll end up doing on this, but I just am so excited. Wire pocket clip right here, as you can see. I actually might throw a deep carry wire pocket clip on here, perhaps from a Dragonfly that size, or even maybe a Para 3 lightweight size. But man, obviously you've got these bright orange G10, the safety orange is what they call them. And again, I just am so excited. This thing was brand new in the box. I actually did order it from Knives Plus, and they had one in stock that was, I believe, maybe the owner's collection. And yeah, I was so lucky. I've been looking for this knife for years. So you can see this one in particular is actually engraved with a Spyderco collector's serial number. If you're not familiar, there is a Spyderco collectors group that has their, each member has their own individual number, and they get all of the Spyderco releases. And a channel that actually does that is Keith Kevin Ken. I love his channel. He just is an avid Spyderco fan, as I am. And if you just weren't familiar, that is what that number is for. But man, I cannot say enough about this thing. The ergonomics are everything I had hoped they would be. It's really weird to want something for so long. It's just a knife. It's an inanimate object. It's a material possession, but still, I've wanted this knife for years and years and years. And, there's always that little bit of you that's thinking, what if it doesn't really fulfill your excitement? It doesn't live up to the hype. And I'm so happy to say that this thing 100% fulfilled my excitement. And yeah, the ergonomics, of course, was the main reason I wanted to get this knife. And it's perfect in hand. Love these G10 scales. Just, man, so phenomenal. Before I do get into the specs, I actually do want to compare it to a few other knives. So as I had mentioned earlier in the video, I'm a huge fan of the Dragonfly 2, and a big reason for that is the handle shape. I love resting my pinky back here, and this gap right here for your two middle fingers, and then the four-finger choil for your index. And that same concept is going to apply to the Dodo, but with my hand size, because this is larger, it just is so much more comfortable in hand, even than the Dragonfly 2. With the Dragonfly 2, really, why I love it, it's so lightweight. I feel like I really only need two fingers to even use it. I definitely can obviously grip on it more, but this thing obviously is way thicker and just fills the hand so well, even for my extra large size hands, as I said. So there's the Dragonfly 2 for comparison. And a couple of other small knives from Spyderco. We've got the Delica, which is going to be a standard. And then because I have the Delica out, may as well bring out the Enduro so you can see just how small of a knife the Dodo really is. Man, just so excited about this. Here's the Para 3 lightweight, which I was referencing. I might actually use the clip that I had taken off of this one for the Dodo. We shall see. But the cutting edge on the Dodo is going to be just a little bit shorter than the Dragonfly 2. So of course it's going to be shorter than pretty much all of the other Spyderco models that are still in production out there, maybe apart from like the Ladybug and some other brands. We got the Hogue Doug Ritter Mini RSK Mark 1 G2, which is going to be basically equivalent to a mini grip in overall size. So you can see the Dodo is not going to be the best for overall blade or cutting edge to handle proportion, but that really just does not bother me at all. And one last non-Spyderco comparison. It's going to be the Zero Tolerance 0460. And I just wanted to bring this out just to exemplify, again, the handle shape with the pinky resting up. I really like the curvature of that, and no knife does it better than the Dodo. Just, wow, I am so excited. I can't stop saying that. You know, this, just to have a Grail knife in hand. The only other, true Grail knife I have unboxed to date is going to be the Swiss Bowie. This one is the Knife Choice exclusive, which I have to admit I actually prefer this model over the original variant. Yeah, the stonewash blade is really nice, but I'm a colors guy. If you watch my channel, you know that. And I really like the blue anodized titanium scales on that. So, just overall, I am so grateful in general that I'm, able to own these knives, to achieve, Grail knives. If you're a knife person, a knife collector, you understand what that is like. And, if you've been able to do that, I should say, man, this is just so smooth. And some of the videos I've seen, sorry, completely just changing topics here. Some of the videos I've seen have really, shown how smooth this pivot is. And yeah, it's one of the smoothest actions I've seen on a Spyderco actually, which is, really nice because it is such a short blade. It's not like you're going to be, flinging this thing down maybe once it's broken in. Again, this is brand new in box. This was definitely a collector's item from the previous owner. I will definitely be using this myself as an EDC knife. If I'm going to keep a knife, I'm going to use it. And, the same goes for the Swiss Bowie. I have used this now. I've carried it a few times. Actually carried it this past weekend, which was really nice. And yeah, I'll be carrying this Dodo all the time. It's just, again, something I've really always wanted, and I can't stop speaking of that. So let me go ahead and get into the specs here as I look at the length of the video and realize I have not addressed them yet. There we go, trying to get that reflection out of the way. So you can see that the weight on this is going to be 2.79 ounces. So definitely, a lightweight knife, not going to be super lightweight per se compared to some of the others out there like the Benchmade Bug Out, or again, the Spyderco Dragonfly 2, which is going to be like 1.2 ounces. But, I just love the overall size and blade shape. I love Spyderco's little big knives. Another one I do have that I will never sell is going to be the Spyderco Meerkat. Check out my video on this if you're curious, but this has the Phantom lock, which is one of my favorite locks out there just because it's so unique. And, you can see just the general concept with their little big knives. They're really trying to get that full four-finger grip on there. And the Dodo, again, just does it better than any that I have used or handled so far to date. And I just cannot stop smiling right now. I'm so excited about this knife, holy moly. And let me get into the remaining specs on this. So you are going to have an overall length of 6.18 inches, a blade length of 2.13 inches, but of course with that choil, your cutting edge is going to be shorter, coming in at 1.75 inches. The closed position on this handle is going to be 4.37 inches. And the blade thickness, it's pretty stout actually for a smaller knife. It's going to be 0.118 inches, which I actually am a fan of. I'm not worried about trying to, slice through cardboard or anything like that necessarily with this knife. I mean, honestly, with this reverse S-shaped blade, that's really just the ideal box opener in any sense of the word. And that's probably what I'll use this for more than anything. Again, I will definitely EDC this, and I don't see myself ever selling this knife, just like some of the others I have mentioned in the video. But again, really cool, a 2012 sprint run. They release exclusives of these or sprint runs every once in a while. Blade HQ, I believe, had the last one. And yeah, they're just really hard to come by. Those that do have them in their collection generally don't want to sell them. And that's going to be me now. Oh, wow. Why didn't I do that earlier in the video? This thing is so easy to Spidey flick. Holy crap. Man, that is going to be fun. I need to definitely practice opening and closing it with one hand, but That is awesome. Yeah, so again, 2012 sprint run, only 1,000 of these made. They do have a blue G10 color variant. They do have a carbon fiber version, I believe. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the Blade HQ exclusive. And I really hope that they bring back the Dodo in another sprint run or exclusive sometime in the near future. And if they do that, I will do everything I can to get one for sure. This is already, I mean, again, guys, this is an all-time Grail for me. So, as I said, it fulfilled my expectations. It's definitely going to be one of my all-time favorite knives already, I can tell. And man, I'm a huge fan of Eric Glesser's designs in general. You know, a big reason for that is because he generally prioritizes function over, you know, the general aesthetic of a knife. One of my all-time favorites, as I had brought out earlier in the video, is the Spyderco Manix 2 Lightweight. I do have 2 of those, and Eric just does a fantastic job, as does Sal, of course. And, you know, this is just one of the reasons, you know, a great example of why I love Spyderco. You know, this is, again, an old design, an old model, originally released in 2003, Eric's first design, but it just exemplifies, you know, the uniqueness of the company. They're always going to be releasing new designs, you know, again, focusing on ergonomics a lot of the times, which is why I love Spyderco, or one of the reasons I love Spyderco so much. And, you know, they're always trying to do new things. The ball bearing lock has been around now for many years, of course, but, you know, when they first had introduced it, it was really innovative. It's definitely, you know, substantially different to something like the Benchmade Axis lock. This is going to be way stronger than that, and it's just not going to go anywhere. The lockup on this thing is rock solid. No blade play left to right or up and down. Just really well executed. I did not mention it, of course, does have CPM S30V, which I believe was the case on the carbon fiber and blue variants. I know the Blade HQ exclusive had M4 steel, and then it is going to be a Golden Colorado USA Earth knife, which is really nice. You know, I think Taichung, you know, the Spyderco's Taichung factory, in my opinion, has the best fit and finish, generally speaking. But this thing is perfect. Wow. Blade centering is perfect. Look at this. Really smooth with that stainless steel, you know, I don't know what to call that bolster that holds the cage. There we go. Cages that ball bearing lock. It is a caged ball bearing lock, to be specific. Really struggling with my words here in this video. I'm just still so ecstatic about this knife. But yeah, I can't say enough about this thing. I will 100% be doing more videos on this, and I will 100% be carrying this thing quite a bit. And I do have to admit, I sold a couple of knives to make this thing happen. They are not cheap nowadays. They weren't cheap when they first came out, and with how exclusive these things are, if you can get your hands on one, it's worth it, in my opinion, especially if you can get one like I did, brand new in box. So for me, it's like I'm a first-time owner of this knife, yet it was released in 2012. That's just super cool for me. I, of course, love sprint runs and exclusives. I do not have a lot of sprint runs. I definitely have way more exclusives. The only sprint run that I have 2 sprint runs, there we go. I had to think about it for a second. I've got the Baby Horn, which I had recently unboxed. Another small knife from Spyderco, but definitely not a little big knife. And then the Spyderco Meerkat, as I had brought out earlier. So, you know, the sprint runs are generally a little bit harder to come by. They're definitely fewer and farther between one another than the exclusives. But, man, when they come out with them, I just love when they bring back the discontinued models, especially in the unique designs. You know, I already featured the Swedish Bowie. Another discontinued model that they had just brought back for an exclusive is the Spyderco Rock Lobster. This one, again, a Blade HQ exclusive, so it's going to have CPM M4 steel. I did throw a deep carry pocket clip on there, which I will be making a video on because it is not a Spyderco pocket clip. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be ending this video shortly so I can fidget with this thing. and go cut some boxes open with it. I'm gonna be just walking around like, what can I cut? Come on. I just love the shape of it. It's so cool. It's the Dodo. I mean, everything about it, the name, the look, not for everyone for sure, but I honestly just love all of Spyderco's unique designs. It's just something about them is really cool to me. I'm a fanboy, so maybe that's the reason why. But a lot of their unique designs aren't necessarily the best overall, ergonomically, or in the pocket, or weight-wise, what have you. And this is already the best knife I've held ergonomically, I have to say. It really is just so phenomenal. I'm looking at my other knives that I've got out in front of me right now, not the full collection, but the Swedish Bowie has perfect ergonomics for the handle shape. The Dodo, just, man, this thing is so phenomenal. I cannot get enough of this knife. I am so ecstatic. Here's the Paramilitary 2, just, to bring it out here. And, the PM2 has insane ergonomics, but handling it after the Dodo is kind of weird because the Dodo it fits like a glove. And I don't know if that would be the case for everyone. I hope to one day, it would be a dream to meet both Sal and Eric Glesser. I'd love to shake their hands, but my point with that is I don't know how big Eric's hands are, so this knife I think would definitely be suitable for people with a smaller hand size. You probably would definitely utilize the position back here with your thumb more. I probably will end up gripping up here more, but another thing that's really, really nice about this is, again, with this blade shape, you can put your index up here or all the way up on the swedge if you're really wanting to do some fine cutting or make sure that you don't dig too deep into a box. But yeah, the Spyderco Dodo, it's a Grail knife. I am just so fortunate, so lucky, and I really would love to see what you guys think in the comments, and really just appreciate everyone's support on the channel as well. I've been growing really quick, and I just am so thankful to all of you. I love the interactions. I love the comments that I receive. I love replying to them and starting conversations and just meeting new people. But if you're a Spyderco fanboy, please share your excitement for this model. And as always, thank you for watching.